What's going on, all you sports and gambling fans out there? Today we have some NBA betting coverage for you. And joining me here, Dave Golikov, our SBR contributor. With the game that we're looking at is the San Antonio Spurs going up against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, San Antonio are on a 7-game winning streak and have won 17 of their last 20 games. They are 6th place in the West while trailing the 5th place Los Angeles Clippers by half a game. Now, this will be the 3rd time that these two teams play each other this season, with both teams getting a win on each side. But with their most recent game played back on the 25th of March, the Spurs pretty much subdued the Thunder 130-91. Now, Dave, do you think that the Spurs could actually upset OKC in the Chesapeake Energy Arena this time?
Well, yeah, I think so. I wouldn't even be an upset. I know what you're saying, but I was surprised, as I think a lot of people, to wake up and see, or check last night and see that the Spurs are a 5.5-point favorite in Oklahoma City. Who would have thought it? But the truth is, this is how the two teams have gone. The Spurs right now are red hot. This is their best stretch of basketball this season. They won 17 of their last 20 games. Their defense has only allowed just over 87 points per game in that stretch. They're playing very well at both ends of the court. Kawhi Leonard is being the X factor for them. Tony Parker looks healthy. Everything's going well for them. And then you take a look at the Thunder, and everything's going amiss for them. So really two teams at opposite ends of the spectrum here. And I know on paper at the beginning of the year, most people thought these teams were even, maybe even the Thunder slightly ahead. But injuries, other factors, all sorts of defensive issues for the Thunder have rendered a situation where they're a 5 or 5.5 point home dog to the Spurs in this spot.
All right, now as for OKC, they're trying to hold on to that final playoff spot in the Western Conference, but they've suffered 3 straight defeats and stand just a half a game ahead of the New Orleans Pelicans with 5 games remaining on the regular season schedule. Now, that last loss that they had came against the Houston Rockets, but it was by a mere 3 points as the game finished 115-112. So, Dave, considering that they are playing at home, do you think that they might be able to take advantage of that in this spot and get the win?
I don't think so, no. I think the line really tells you a lot here. It's a little bit bizarre to see this type of line, but I think it speaks volumes. We know KC's banged up, but okay, maybe they're a 1-point favorite, a 2-point favorite at home. They're getting 5.5 at home, which is a massive amount of points in the NBA, especially at home. And I think that tells you what you need to know. They come in on a losing streak. They couldn't beat Houston at home. They've been having all sorts of issues beating anybody. The biggest concern for me is the disparity in defensive performance between these two teams. You got the Spurs, who I mentioned, 87 points per game in their last 20. The Thunder, since acquiring Enes Kanter, I know he's been fantastic at the offensive end, but since acquiring him, when he's on the floor, they have the worst defense in the NBA in terms of points per game, points per 100 possessions. So you can see their defensive performance has declined significantly. And really, when you're betting the Thunder these days, you're hoping that Russell Westbrook can go bananas. But he's been going crazy, averaging nearly triple doubles over the last couple of weeks, and they're still not winning games. So I don't really know what else they can do. They need Kevin Durant back. They need Ibaka back, not only at the offensive end, but at the defensive end. Without those guys, without Roberson, they're really not getting enough stops, and I don't see how they slow down a hot Spurs team tonight.
All right, man, and you're right. The line did open up at 5.5, but since then it's gone all the way up to 6.5 and 7 points in some case. The deal is that the Spurs are 1-9 against the spread in the last 10 games played at Oklahoma City. So might we consider grabbing the point in this case, Dave?
I think 5.5, I was leaning towards the Spurs. When you get to the 7-point range, if it keeps going higher, probably avoiding. I don't know that the Thunder get run off the court at home. I think they probably lose tonight, but I don't know if they get blown out. I would lean closer to the Thunder at that line, but originally I did like the Spurs. Anybody checking the article, I do like the Spurs. I think maybe we're splitting hairs here between 5 and 7, but in general, I think they win this game and probably cover that number. Oklahoma City is they're out of gas a little bit. I think Westbrook's out of gas. They don't have enough options other than him and Kanter in terms of offense, and or at least consistent offense. And those two guys can't do it alone. And then you look at the defensive end. if either of those guys get slowed down, I mean, the Thunder aren't slowing anybody down. So San Antonio probably getting to 105, 110 points. If that's the case, they're probably winning and covering. So, again, I like the Spurs more at 5. I guess I have to stick with it and expect them to win even at 7. I just think the line is really the telling stat here. It tells you all you need to know. The Thunder just not matching up very well in this spot and very likely lose this game.
All right, good stuff, Dave. Thanks a lot for all the insights and the pick here. We'll talk again soon. And everyone else, don't forget to check back with Dave tomorrow for some more sports coverage and your free picks. Till then, for SBR Picks, this is Dax Floyd.